the song with your heart. Play the song with your heart.
What is good, YouTube? This your boy Aaron.
It's Brian.
And this is the Courtside View podcast. But before we start, make sure to like, subscribe, comment down below, hit the notification bell, follow the social well, and let's continue. Now, today, we have a lot to discuss from the previous week. A lot of news, a lot of breaking news happened this past week involving, number one, go to the news update. O.J. Simpson passed away, cancer, and very polarizing figure, a very controversial figure, as you
To say the least.
Yeah, as you already know, he was
He could tote that pill though on the football field.
yeah, he was found innocent by the court of law regarding the murder of being accused of the murder of his wife, but people tend to think that he did it because of the evidence and stuff like that. So that's been sort of been a part of his just life ever since that trial, and he's been pretty much known for that trial and stuff like that.
And running from the police.
But yeah, man, O.J. Simpson, I mean, it's just interesting. The reaction, if you ever seen the documentary, just the reaction from a lot of black people when he was found innocent by a court of law, and years later, the way that people talk about him, it's just interesting, man. It's just a time of history that people will always remember, just the ties to the Kardashians as well. What is just your reaction to the news of O.J.'s passing?
Unexpected, but as far as it's just sending thoughts and all that to the family and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really got no opinion. OJ, he was a funny dude. I tell you that much.
Yeah, for all the wrong reasons, but like I will say, because if you pay attention to Cameron and Mace's show, he was on there. Yeah. He was he made some jokes. He was making news on that show as well. And I know Cameron and Mace, they sort of talked about they didn't like the way that people were talking about OJ after he passed and stuff like that. I'm not going to really speak much on that. I don't really have much thoughts about his passing. A lot of people don't like him.
It wasn't like he was young or nothing. He was 76.
76, yeah. But nowadays there's still room to continue to live, but unfortunately he wasn't able to win his battle with cancer, and now he's gone. There was a report that his kids, when they went to the hospital to see him for the last time,
phones, and they had to sign a DMCA.
But then I saw something else that debunked that. I don't know. Regardless, at the end of the day, we don't know. He was found innocent by a court of law, but we don't necessarily know if it's true or not. But he was found innocent by a court of law. So those are just the facts. I can't really say nothing else. I mean, I didn't live during that time, so his impact, the way that I sort of looked at him, it didn't really feel much because I wasn't around during that time to really see like him in commercials, him in movies and stuff of that nature, because a lot of people that lived around that time looked up to him. They wanted to be OJ because it's just he was a great running back in those times. A lot of football players, they wanted to wear his jersey number. They wanted to play running back because he was an all-time great running back. I mean, I think he had at one point may have had the most rushing yards ever. Like he was a fantastic running back. It's just unfortunate that because of the trial, it overshadows all of his accomplishments in the NFL because he was an all-time great talent in itself. So that's really all I want to say on the OJ matter. And let's move on to some other news. Last week, Monday, obviously South Carolina versus Iowa. South Carolina won that game.
That was Sunday.
It was Sunday. Excuse me. It was Sunday. I was thinking of the other championship game, and UConn, they beat Purdue. But yeah, South Carolina versus Iowa on Sunday. South Carolina won convincingly. They won by double digits, and not surprising. I knew that South Carolina was going to win. They have more talent. Caitlin Clark, as great as she is, unfortunately, you're gonna need some talent in order to win. At the end of the day, she lost to LSU last year. Now she lost to South Carolina. Lost to two better teams. So there's nothing wrong with that. She's still all-time great talent, in my opinion. One of the greatest. Honestly, she might be the most. You could argue she might be the most impactful women's college player in the past 20 years. It's argument to be made because just look at the engagement. I'm looking at the numbers. 18.9 million views for the championship game, the most ever. That is more than the NBA Finals.
Yep.
The impact is there.
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of people on social media that want to look at it and say they want to take shots at ESPN and all these other networks because they are highlighting Caitlin Clark more than the South Carolina going undefeated. My thing with that is that I understand what they're trying to say, but you have to realize that South Carolina's not the first team in the past 10 years to go undefeated. Like, remember UConn? I think they had 4 years where they went undefeated. And as great as it wasn't as big as what Caitlin Clark is doing. And so maybe just ESPN, they're looking at it like, well, UConn did it before. How much do people like really care about that? And I will say South Carolina, they were about to go on an undefeated season last year, but Caitlin Clark bounced them out. So I just think that I understand the frustration, but at the same time, I look at the Caitlin Clark, I look at her journey and what she's had to overcome. I just think her story, just the way that she's presenting herself, I believe is just more interesting than South Carolina. Now, I will say that they deserved more attention. It seemed like every other commercial was Caitlin Clark. You know, so I can understand where people are coming from that because all we got from South Carolina was just like Dawn Staley press conferences, quotes, and everything. It wasn't any other players.
Yeah, that's true.
So I will say that is true, but for the most part, Caitlin Clark's impact to the game, to the women's sports in general, women's basketball in general, I believe she deserves all the acclaim, all the attention because she has really just brought just a different level of viewership to a sport that a lot of folks were just brushing off, weren't really paying attention to because either they just didn't respect women's basketball or, you know, they just had their own preconceived notions about the game and stuff. So I salute Caitlin Clark on that one. South Carolina, salute to them. Dawn Staley is an amazing coach, and I expect her to win more championships from years to come. You have any thoughts on South Carolina winning, or is that?
No, I mean I wasn't really surprised. Honestly, they were the better team. They were undefeated. They had like one close game in the tournament, maybe two at most. They was pretty dominant throughout the tournament. I honestly wasn't surprised that they was. And honestly, Iowa had no answer for Cardosa.
No,
I knew she was just gonna feast on him.
Yeah.
And I forgot. I know her name is Raven. I forgot her last name, but she was putting the straps on Caitlin Clark after that first quarter.
Yeah.
She went 5 for 20 when she was guarding. I said, "Oof."
Yeah, they were doing their thing that game.
I did notice something. Though.
Yeah.
And this is gonna be a big problem when she goes to the league.
What?
Caitlin Clark can't go left.
She can't go left. I mean, I remember you said that during the game. You were like, "Oh, can she go? Like, why can't she go left?"
Like I was really panicked. Like I just noticed it. I was like, every time she dribbled left, she either was losing the ball or was like easily picked up her dribble or was making a bad. I was like, wait, can she go left?
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't think she can go. And it kept happening throughout the game. And every time they forced her left, she would either lose the ball or have to pass it, or she couldn't get separate unless she was doing that step back. She was not getting no type of separation, no penetration in the lane when she went left.
I told you when I went. Remember, I went to go see Iowa versus Maryland last year, and like Maryland did a number on her. They were really taking her out of the game. Like you put a taller, stronger, more athletic guard on her, she's gonna have a difficult time trying to get her points, get her shot off. And that's what happened against Maryland with her last year. Obviously, this year she was able to get her way, but, we lost some pieces. But when you have like a more athletic, stronger defender guarding her, she's gonna have a tough time. Now, I do believe when she gets into the league, I think she'll thrive. She'll eventually thrive. She'll eventually be able to she'll be able to adjust. She'll do her thing. I've seen Diana Taurasi. She's not the biggest. She's not the strongest. You have all these other guards in the league, that the Kelsey Plums and all the other stuff. Like they're not the biggest. They're not the strongest. They're not the most athletic. But they were able to adjust their game and eventually become one of the better players in the league. So I expect her to do the same thing. I think she's one of the best talents we've seen. She was the Steph Curry of college basketball. I told you this story before, but I didn't really know her at all. And I went to the game and I was like, damn, she doing all these moves like Stephen Curry, even though she wasn't hitting the shots. I was like, man, she must be like really good or something. And I checked her stats and she's averaging 27. I'm like, oh, well, I guess I was right about that. And then I remember just, the highlights and everything from ESPN. I was like, oh, that's her. So I expect her to be really good in the league, and I can't wait. Another thing, her impact. I think it's like a 93% uptick in ticket sales for the Fever, because the Fever had the number one pick, and I think it's projected that she'll go to the Fever. And also the Las Vegas Aces, they moved to a different arena with more seats, because they're playing the Indiana Fever first game of the season. Now, I've seen people debunk it like, they've done this all the time. But it's just interesting that for the Indiana Fever game, they would move to a different arena. So it could be a coincidence. I think it's not. I believe it's because they suspect that there's going to be a lot of people that want to go to that game because of Caitlin Clark. I believe Caitlin Clark, her impact to the game, I believe she's going to bring more viewership, more attention. I remember I heard a comparison to her, to Magic Johnson and Larry Bird when they were in college and they brought in viewership to the NBA. I believe she can have a similar impact to a Magic Johnson, to a Larry Bird, because of just how interesting she is, her game, and just the coverage that she was being shown in the college game, and just the ability to get people to watch her games. 18.9 million views.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Come on now. I think she can do that. And the game's already getting a lot better in the women in WNBA. Like, the viewership is going up. I believe she'll take it to another level when she gets there. And the WNBA's problem has always been, in my opinion, just the scheduling. They're in the summertime. People are out and about and stuff like that. It's kind of hard for people to like really pay attention. And then also like the finals, I think it's it's around football season. So it's a difficult time. But I believe that Caitlin Clark will make it so where people will have to pay attention to the WNBA. People will have to respect the women's game because of just her name alone, and her impact will go a long way. And then you have Angel Reese as well coming to the league. You have other women players coming into the league. So I expect, and then also the college game with Juju, she's going to be back. Paige Becker, she's going to be back. So I believe the next iteration of these women basketball players, people are going to start paying attention more. Shout out to Diana Taurasi. Shout out to Candace Parker, Maya Moore, Angel Wilson, Kelsey Plum. All these women, they paved the way for the next generation. I look at them. I look at all those women. Lisa Leslie. They're like the Bill Russells. They're like the Oscar Robertsons. They're like the Jerry West. That's what they are. They were the ones. They paved the way. They opened the door. Surely the viewership maybe wasn't the greatest. The money wasn't the greatest. But this next iteration, I compare it to the Magics, the Birds, the Patrick Ewings, the Jordans, the Charles Barkleys. That's the next iteration coming in my opinion, where they're going to take the baton and they're going to elevate the game even more to where now they won't have to worry as much about, we only getting paid $70,000. We're only getting paid $100,000. I believe this next iteration will take the women's league to another level, to where now we're not looking at WNBA and they're losing money every year. You know? So, and then also, why are the NBA players not supporting the WNBA as much? Like, we won't have those conversations as much anymore. I believe this next generation will have that much impact.
That's definitely possible, because it's a lot of talent in the women's division of college ball.
Mm-hmm. And also the girl from Stanford,
Cameron Brink.
Yeah, her as well. She's really good. She has name recognition. So, just the NIL has done wonders to a lot of these women, because before they weren't getting as much spotlight, but now it seems like with the NIL, a lot of these women are getting more, sponsorship deals, more commercials. We get to see them more.
That is true.
And that's great for the women's sport in general, in college basketball and in WNBA. So if you want to look at the bright side of NIL, I think it's the women's basketball and the WNBA. These women are getting more shine. They're getting more commercial deals, and now we know who they are. And we're like, Juju's going to be the next iteration. She's going to be on a bunch of commercials as well, because the hair, like people. How I was watching the Paul George podcast, and one of the members, he was wearing the Juju hairstyle. So it's gonna be very great. And I want to go to Rashee Rice real quick. He turned himself in. There was a warrant out for his arrest. He turned himself in. Here's the thing, because we just learned a few days ago that he was going over 100 miles per hour. Yikes. Yeah. He has 8 charges. So,
did they specify what the charges were?
I think it was like reckless endangerment. I forget what else. I know he injured some people. Some people got injured. Reckless. He fled the scene.
True.
That's another one. So it's like a hit and run or something. But I don't know all the charges, but I heard it's 8 charges, and then we found out he went over 100 miles per hour. So it's not looking good for him. He turned himself in. What is your thoughts on this situation?
It's just
Yeah.
people just can't get right. I mean,
Yeah.
not only did you was recklessly driving, going over 100 miles an hour, there were guns and weed in the car. Like, how silly can you be? You got all this money. You just came off a Super Bowl. You playing with the best QB we've seen in I don't even know how
Since
long.
Tom Brady.
Yeah, since Brady, but I don't know. I don't know what's up with these dudes, man.
Just bad. Just their circle, the people that they hang around, just bad for them. Like,
as far as I recall, I don't remember there being any character concerns coming out of the draft for him.
No, I ain't hear that either. It's just the circle that he's around. Maybe those people that are around him are not good for him. They're like, oh man, let's do this, that. Remember, because it was 2 cars. It was him in a Lambo, and it was a guy in a Corvette. So they were racing one another, and I assume they're friends. Yeah. Having those friends around you where you end up doing dumb stuff, those aren't good people to be around. And so he needs to change his circle. He needs to have people around him that care for his well-being, instead of just, let's do it, let's be reckless, let's drag race. Like, no, man, like that's not the wave. And
let's say even if Rashee, even if he suggested that they do the racing, because sometimes people be like, it's the people around him, but it could also just be them. Like the whole Ja Morant thing. No one forced Ja Morant to be towing guns on live and stuff like that. Yeah. But even if that is the case, Rashee Rice wanted to do. This saying you protect the money.
Yeah, you gotta protect the bag getter.
Yeah, like if that's your man's and he putting y'all on, you supposed to be like, we not doing that. I don't know. These new cats is different.
He acting like he got first round money. He got second round money.
Yeah,
he tripping
exactly,
right now.
At least while out after you get the payday or something.
He acting like he a top 5 pick, bro. You went in the second round, my guy. Like, calm down. You not there yet. What are you doing? Yeah, I don't get it, man. First, after 1 year in the league, you wilding out,
Crashing out, literally.
God, how many years did it take before Henry Ugg started crashing out? Maybe 2 or 3.
No, it was after the first year.
After the first, and he was a first round pick.
Yeah.
He was the 11th pick. This guy's the second one, man. I mean, either way, bad is bad. It doesn't matter what pick you were drafted to, but still, like, my God. Like, damn, I know you won the Super Bowl, but this is do you think he's cooked?
It's a I gotta see the full list of charges, and
nobody died, so I mean,
yeah,
that's the good thing.
They might let him off a little easier, but yeah,
8 charges is a lot though.
Yeah,
fleeing the scene is bad.
Yeah.
Injuring
I don't
somebody.
know. I'm not a lawyer or anything of the sort, so I don't think I'm qualified to speak on.
It's a first offense.
Yeah,
so
he is a first offender.
That's a good. Yeah.
I don't know. We just gonna have to see, man. But in the meantime, Chiefs, we have pick 24 for you if you want to trade up. hit up Jerry Jones.
All right. Well, John Calipari. News came out that he is now the new Arkansas head coach. This came out of nowhere. I wasn't expecting him to all of a sudden go from Kentucky to Arkansas, but then I've been hearing some rumblings. Number one, Kentucky and the boosters. He wasn't getting along with some of the boosters, and that may have been part of the reason why he felt like he needed to go, because nowadays NIL money, you're going to need boosters in order to attract some of these players to come there, and so him not getting along with the boosters may have propelled him to wanting to go to Arkansas, because Arkansas, they got money. I think the owner, the CEO of Tyson's Chicken Nuggets. Oh. He's like in association with Arkansas, and then there's somebody else on there as well. And John Calipari I think he's good friends with the Tyson's guys. But ultimately, he's the new coach. Like, what is your thoughts on just him going from Kentucky to Arkansas now?
If he couldn't get the job done with all the talent at Kentucky, I don't know how he's gonna do it in Arkansas. So I mean, yeah,
I don't know.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, I agree with you on that.
But
one.
is Arkansas fans really gonna get out the pitchforks if he stinks up the joint? They might just be happy to be there. So
you might be right.
He might have. He made a business decision. He said, I could leave. I could underachieve at this place and not get the national media backlash. Okay, see ya. Mm-hmm. That might just be what it boiled down to.
And he got a new deal. Got a 5-year deal.
I don't see. Okay, I never understood. Like, I know you may really like a coach. I'm not giving a coach no 5-year deal. Unless I truly know this is the dude. Like this, unless you are literally proven, like how the Lakers gave Darvin Ham a multi-year. I wouldn't have given Darvin Ham no multi-year deal. I don't even know if you can coach.
Well, you're not gonna be able to get a coach if you don't get them a multi-year deal.
That's a shame.
I mean, that's just the facts.
I said, how many years did they sign the Darvin Ham for?
I really don't know. I think it may have been 4. Probably 4. That's normally how many years a coach gets, either 4 or 5.
Okay.
So that's just a norm. That's a different. I didn't want to get down to that tree, man. It's a lot going on over there. But yeah, man. I mean, John Calipari, he was already recruiting in Kentucky. I just don't think can coach that well anymore. He's lost his touch. Maybe he might be motivated now. Maybe he might have realized his error of ways, and he'll go about it a different way. But I mean, Kentucky, those expectations. A lot of players, they look at Kentucky and they're like, man, this is my way to get in the league. I just don't see how you can go from disappointment after disappointment to going to Arkansas and then just all of a sudden, you're back to where you were when you first arrived in Kentucky. I just don't see how that can happen unless maybe he changes the way that he coaches now. Maybe he goes back to his old ways of being strict and disciplined and all the other stuff that John Wall and Boogie Cousins used to talk about, where he was very intense. Maybe he needs to go back to that. I wanted to break my silence on this because this is something that really means something to me. So last week, j.cole apologized to Kendrick Lamar. He released this 7-minute freestyle where he pretty much it was a diss track towards Kendrick Lamar and what Kendrick Lamar said on Like That from Metro Boomin, Future's album. Me personally, when I saw the apology, I was completely shocked. I was like, no, j.cole, no. Because, listen, I'm a j.cole and I'm a Kendrick fan, but if I had to pick one, I'm going Kendrick. But I was like, no, j.cole, no, bruh. Because I knew what was going to happen. I knew there was going to be a lot of backlash. I knew that a lot of people were going to just throw dirt on his name, and they're doing it right now. There's this YouTuber, I was watching this video of him, and he said he was there at Dreamville when j.cole apologized, and he was like around like executives and stuff like that, and he was just talking about like how they were completely shocked when j.cole started apologizing about Kendrick Lamar and stuff like that. And I was just like, whoa, like this is a big deal. And yeah, man, just what is your reaction to just the apology?
Okay, there's two sides of me. That there's the understanding the person's side and understanding it's hip hop. Mm-hmm. From a human standpoint, if it didn't sit right with him and he didn't feel like that was something he wanted to align himself with, he didn't feel like it was right, okay, that's fine. But at the end of the day, there's the other side of me is like, it's rap, it's hip hop. If you're gonna go, then just stand on business. If you're not, don't go in the studio and lay no track. So I was disappointed, and then recently he also he had a feature on the second album. Granted, that feature was months and months old, but now it's just like the optics, and even the lyrics, they kind of relate, even though it's not directly related. But it's like man, it's getting even worse, even though it's not. There's people misconstruing it, but it's just bad optics. And I wonder if he apologized, also not only because he didn't align himself with, but we ain't get to that part yet. But we could just get to it right now. Matter of fact, if he heard about that Drake and Kendrick had diss tracks ready to go, maybe he was like, I'm not trying to get in the middle of this. I'm gonna just not getting across. I'm gonna just bow out now. So I ain't ruin no relationships or anything like that. I wonder if that was the reason why he was like, oh no, never mind, I'm out of here.
Before I get to that, I want to say that it's just funny how the internet and Kendrick Lamar, they take his lyrics and like they're like, oh my God, like Kendrick Lamar, he prophesized this because he said y'all got April 7th, and Cole apologized on April 7th. It's just how convenient is that? And then like there was like lyrics of Kendrick talking about this situation, and it literally played out the exact way he talked about it in his lyrics and his songs. Like it was different songs where he would talk about something like this, and it's just amazing how like Cole does the exact thing Kendrick said somebody would do. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And obviously j.cole fans like, oh, y'all glazing him and stuff. I mean, the facts are the facts. Like, he pointed this out years ago, and j.cole did exactly what he pointed out. And it's just, like, April 7th? He said y'all got till April 7th, and he apologized on April 7th. This dude is the boogeyman, dog. This dude's the boogeyman. But, yeah, back to your point. I will say, I think everything that's transpiring right now in the Metro Boomin album, when he, the album that came out, the second album that came out recently, where you have A$AP Rocky and The Weeknd throwing shots at Drake, it's becoming a war between this side and that side. And I think J. Cole, like, man, I ain't trying to be a part of all this. This is way too much. This is bigger than me. I'm just trying to rap.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to rap, get money, and
ride my bike around with no security.
And all these other rappers are just throwing shots left and right. And he like, I'm not trying to be a part of that. Like Quavo beefing with Chris Brown. Like, it's just so much toxicity going on with these rappers right now and these R&B singers that he's just like, I don't want to be a part of that. I don't have to pick sides. I'm neutral on the situation. Mm-hmm. But it's just funny how like Cole responds to Kendrick Lamar, and then all of a sudden we learn that he has a track with Metro Boomin and Future. It's just so funny to me. Yeah, that's just interesting to me. But ultimately, I'm just disappointed in J. Cole. But I understand he shouldn't have dropped the diss track. Yeah, he shouldn't have done it.
He would have caught flack for it, but he getting even more flack from dropping it than backing out. So,
but he wasn't. But think about this. So like before he dropped the track, most of the people that were like most of the people were calling out Drake.
That is true.
It wasn't like J. Cole, yeah, but like most of the people were looking at Drake like, yo, why are you running from Kendrick? What's going on? Because Drake and Kendrick have been throwing shots at one another for so many years, and we looking at J. Cole and we like, it would be cool. But at the same time, we like, I mean, Cole, him and Kendrick, they buddy, so we ain't really looking at J. Cole that much. Now, Drake, on the other hand, I was thinking about this. You know, if I had to compare these three rappers to NBA players, I look at J. Cole, he's Dwayne Wade. I look at Drake, he's LeBron James. I look at Kendrick Lamar, he's Kobe. Now, why do I say J. Cole is Dwayne Wade? Dwayne Wade is an all-time great player. At one point, he was one of the three best players in the NBA, but he was never considered the best. He was never considered the best at his position, even though he's all-time great. And he had some accomplishments, but he never won an MVP. He's gotten some All-NBA awards, but he's never gotten an MVP. And he teamed up. He was willing to team up with LeBron James. So if you look at J. Cole, what does he do? He teams up with Drake at times. Drake teams up with Dwayne Wade. LeBron James, he's a guy that he be teaming up with he be wanting everybody to team up with him and everything like that. And when I look at Kendrick and I bring the Kobe comparison, like Kobe, he didn't want to team up with LeBron. He didn't want to team up with Dwayne Wade. He wanted to annihilate them. He wanted to compete. Like he has massive respect for them. You know, he's buddy with Dwayne Wade. With LeBron, it's more so, I mean, I respect you, but I wanna annihilate you. Like I wanna show the world that I'm better than you. And there's this constant debate about who's the best. Is it Kendrick? Is it Drake? Is it Kobe or is it LeBron during Kobe's heyday and stuff like that? I look at it like that. Now people gonna say, oh, so that means you think Drake is better than Kobe? No, it does not. I'm just saying in terms of the way that they approach things, just their personalities and stuff like that. I look at Kobe and I say he's Kobe. I said Kobe. I look at Kendrick, I say he's Kobe Bryant, and I look at Drake and I say he's LeBron. Like LeBron, he's more so outgoing, social, wants to team up with different players and stuff like that. While Kobe is more so, hey, I'm staying at one team. I'm not trying to team up with no superstars. I want to compete against them and stuff. And he's an assassin. He's a killer. So I look at that's my comparison. At first, I heard the Cole being compared to Tim Duncan. I understand that, but I don't see Cole in that way. I see Cole more as a Dwayne Wade. How you feel about that?
I seen people say Cole was KD. I seen people say all type of stuff.
I don't see that.
Your analogy makes sense in that sense of personality wise, and Cole never being regarded as like the best.
No,
even though he's been, I do believe Cole is the most consistent out of the three. But as far as the best, I don't think he's ever had that type of prestige as far as that big three. People trying to kick him out the big three now. They say Future in the big three.
Yeah.
So hey, maybe that's what Cole wanted. Maybe Cole don't want to be.
No.
Regarded as maybe he just wants to rap. I don't know.
And the sad thing is because we've heard these past few years where he regarded himself as the best, and he be saying all these stuff. I got that stick on me and all the other stuff. But then when war comes, when battle comes, he's like, you know what? I don't want to do it. I don't want the heat for
you
this.
You think J. Cole just likes punching down on people? Because he had no problem talking about Kanye on False Prophets. He had no problem talking about people like Lil Pump and them on 1985. And like, I don't know. It seems like he just might be beating up on people he know that ain't prepared to or equipped to respond.
I think with the Kanye one was more so of because he had a lot of love for Kanye, so it's more so like, damn, you were my idol.
Let Cole down. Like,
yeah, literally like that was what it was. You let Cole down. That's what it was. That's his version. Was like, damn, bro, like you used to be my idol, and now you turn into this sort of vibe. It was really that. I didn't look at it as he was like dissing Kanye. It was more so like, damn, bro, I looked up to you, yada yada yada. Like, man, now you're this. Like, it's disappointing. And then the whole thing, I think, what was her name? No Name.
Yeah.
No Name. That back and forth. I don't know. I forget exactly what transpired. I know she called him out for something.
She called him and Kendrick out for being silent during the time of civil unrest in 2020, and J. Cole was pretty much like, I don't read books or something like that. I don't know.
I remember he did say something like that.
Kendrick Lamar didn't say anything.
Nah, Kendrick Lamar didn't say anything. I don't know if Kendrick really cared much.
Well, he kind of addressed it on what's that song called? In 95. He said He said I've been ducking the overnight activists or something like that, and like that.
I remember he did talk about, cuz like people look at him because of the Pimp a Butterfly, like he's this activist and everything, like he's this like political sort of figure and stuff, but he's not trying to portray himself as that. No. He's just he is a conscious rapper, but he's not trying to paint himself as, I'm this political rapper now. Like, no, that's not. He's just, with Kendrick, what he raps about, he's rapping about his experiences, and a lot of these experiences people can relate to, and a lot of these experiences have been taught in African American studies, have been talked about on television, and so people just automatically assume, he's this political rapper now. Like, no, I mean, what he's talking about is real. What he's talking about has been discussed a lot in these conversations regarding race, regarding black trauma. But at the end of the day, that's just what it is. Like, it's not trying to politicize anything. Now, and then you also talk about Lil Pump and what's in the other guys. But I mean that Lil whoever, you just a short something rapper. I mean that you might have a point. You may have a point, but I felt like in that one he was frustrated. I felt like he was like me, like he was speaking to people like me, who at the time, if you recall, it was a lot of mumble rapping going on. It was a lot of guys that were making like not even 2-minute songs, just rapping about nothing, but like codeine and stupid stuff. And I'm just sitting there. And I'm just like, why are these guys getting so much attention? And I feel like with Cole, I think it was more so tough love. I think he was trying to tell those rappers that the stuff you're doing right now is not going to last. Like, you have to evolve. Mm. It wasn't necessarily as much of it. You could kind of say it's a diss, but it's more so like, yo, y'all need to understand that what you're doing is not going to last. And he was right. That shit was whack. People was listening to it for whatever reason. This was like around, what was it, 2016?
2016, 2017, yeah.
Cause like remember like Uzi was getting. I mean, I was cool with Uzi because Uzi he was very. This one Uzi was really in the bag. Like
Uzi can actually rap though. That's the difference.
Uzi is very versatile. Like he has different types of like he has the rock sound. Like he has all these different types of sounds that the auto tuning and everything like that. While these other dudes they just had one sound and they were talking about bullshit. And people were eating it up. I just don't understand it. But anywho, the Drake part of things. The news about so Joe Budden said that first of all he was wrong because he said that Drake was going to drop a diss track Friday, but the news that Drake and Kendrick have diss tracks ready, and he said it's gonna be like nuclear. What is your reaction to that?
I'm inclined to believe it simply because Joe Budden has been right about a lot of stuff leading up to this point in regards to the whole rap beef situation. It'll be interesting to see because there are a lot of like Kendrick could really do something crazy.
Oh, he
as
could
far as
definitely
like
do something crazy,
saying stuff about Drake that's like. Imagine if Kendrick brings up Drake's possible, allegedly, him being affiliated with minor situation. Like that's a thing. That's a stone that hasn't been touched on in rap. Cause like okay, yes, there may be some behind the stuff things we don't know about Kendrick Lamar, but it seems like he pretty much addressed. All of this stuff, like his depression, his
cheating on his wife.
Yeah, cheating on his wife, not dropping music. You can't say he ain't stamped where he's from because everybody in Compton, he the man. So I mean, you like that. I think like he really put Drake in a spot where you have to out rap him. Like you have to out rap him at this point.
You can't do Pusha T where you just
exactly
throwing,
like you can't like
shots.
drop
like info.
Yeah,
like, you have to like really put your bars that pen to work.
Exactly, because you can't say he fell out with his people because he still rock with people over in TDE. Like they'll fight you over Kendrick Lamar. So
the only person where I could see turning on Kendrick is SZA. Because remember, SZA is cool with Drake. Remember the Sexy Red video? SZA was in that video, and they used to date.
True.
But then Kendrick could always turn around on him with that situation. Because SZA, I think was she 18? I think she may have been 18, maybe, and he was like maybe 22 or something. So maybe he can't use that situation. But I remember people talking about that. On the internet and stuff. It was like, hold on, man. She was like 8. She was like maybe a minor, and you were so age.
And Kendrick he honestly has a lot of leverage in this situation simply because of the fact we haven't heard a full blown diss track from Kendrick. Yes, he had the Control verse, but that was on a feature. It's not really his own thing he really put out, and he doesn't really have expectations to live up to. Drake, on the other hand, he has to. Match or at least do something better than back to back, and that was like a club banger type diss record. So he has a lot of he's honestly kind of in a lose-lose situation because it could be a point where he could drop something and it'd be really fire, but then people are like, oh, that's whack, just because they don't like Drake. Like he's really in a catch-22 here for this response. So he might have something on deck, but he could be overthinking it. Like, well, maybe. It may not be as good as so he really fighting Kendrick and himself at this point.
Yeah, I think Drake, he's just gonna throw subliminals. That he's gonna do the same old crap. The next album, the next song comes out with, he's gonna throw a little subliminal here, a little subliminal there about Kendrick.
And then also, not only does he have to fight, he got to fight everybody else. He got to fight ASAP. He got to fight Rick Ross. He got to fight The Weeknd now. And then shoot that feature with Metro and Future, he might be feeling some type of way about Cole on that one and him backing out of it. So he might feel some type of way.
The whole industry turned on Travis Scott as well.
Oh yeah, like, Travis Scott.
Oh my God, the whole industry turning on him.
And the OVO shooters ain't worth a ham sandwich at this point.
Nah, man. I just look at it.
Who we got? Who we got left? 21 on. He got 21 Savage on this side.
And I don't even know the relationship now with Metro Boomin and 21 Savage, but I haven't heard anything bad from 21 regarding Metro Boomin. So is 21 gonna side with Drake over Metro? Because remember, Metro, his name, like, he got big off of collaborating with 21. Because before, I ain't hear much. Now, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he collaborated with Future beforehand.
Yeah.
He did?
You don't remember What a Time to Be Alive?
Oh, that was him?
Yeah. If you're on Metro, don't trust you. On Jump Man.
I didn't realize. I forgot about that.
That's the first time I heard of Metro. Was on What a Time to Be Alive.
But the first time I seen him on like
a music video. On The Life of Pablo, he was on.
Oh, he was on Life of Pablo?
Was beautiful. Stretch My Hands. Yeah, that was Metro.
Okay. But the first time I seen him on a music video was I think it was 21 Savage. That I forgot what song it was.
I seen him on a couple music.
You have?
Yeah. I know he was on. I think he was in Space Cadet with Gunna.
That came out later though.
Yeah,
that came out later.
Oh, you mean you see him in a music video with 21 before that?
Yeah, like when 21 started to make his name known.
Oh,
like,
okay.
That's when that was like around 2016, 2015 ish.
That's about right.
Yeah, I remember like he was in the music videos and stuff. Like, damn.
This is like the first time I see producers outside of. Well, Diddy ain't no producer. I was like, producers in the videos.
Yeah. That's why I was like, damn, okay. But yeah, anywho, 21 Savage. I don't know where he's gonna align himself, but regardless,
I mean, 21. I think he's still no. Actually, I don't think him and Future really cool like that. Because Future has said he didn't like that collab tape that he dropped with Drake.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It's just weird. But you're right. Drake, he has everything to lose. It's gonna be very difficult with him. Like, what can he uncover about Kendrick? That
exactly. Like, see, you have to out rap him. Like things that really ain't been touched on. Like Drake allegedly getting. Can we say this on YouTube? There may have been. I'm gonna just say it, possibly getting peed on by T.I. people. The whole possible minor situation, him getting Pusha T already covered that. Him getting the whole baby mama situation.
Yeah,
and it's some stuff you could say about Drake that ain't been touched on yet.
Yeah. He has a lot of receipts. Yeah, the industry. That's the problem with being friendly with a lot of these rappers and a lot of these producers, because they're gonna talk. And Kendrick, he could probably get their numbers. He could probably reach out and say, hey, you know this, and this about Drake. All these women he's been with. He'd be like, hey, what did he do with you? Blah, blah, blah. Like, he can uncover a lot.
Yeah. Just
the way that Pusha T was able to uncover some things about Drake from this girl that was messing with 40, that pillow talking.
Oh, that's where he got all that info.
Yeah, he got it. Yeah. So he got the info from this woman who was messing with 40 and talking about. I think he was talking about the kid. Maybe that's where he got the information about the kid. So yeah, Drake, he's on an unwinnable situation. Maybe that's why he hasn't dropped a track yet. And yeah.
Plus, I think he's been on tour too. So
and another thing about the whole situation is that we just see Drake in all of these different beefs over the years, and I have a theory about it.
You know, it's funny. Yeah. People on Twitter like, why is everybody turning on Drake? Maybe Drake just isn't a good person. I don't know. Like listen. At this point, it's a pattern. Like, I understand if like one or two, but it's like multiple people have come out recently and be like, we don't really mess with you no more. Like, at some point, when do we be like, maybe he's kind of a weirdo?
I think some of it has to do with he has this chip on his shoulder because he's a light-skinned dude, singing dude from Toronto, and these guys right here, they just have a grudge against him because it's just he came to the game. I actually
have a theory. Sorry to cut you off. I actually have kind of a theory at why Kendrick Lamar probably doesn't like Drake.
Why?
I think because listen, they was cool back when Poetic Justice, first album came out and stuff like that. When Drake was just he was rapping, it was more about the women and stuff like that. But I feel like over time, when he started getting to the six God persona and how he act like he was really like that, he act like he mob ties and all that stuff. I think Kendrick was like, this dude he was an actor from Toronto. He ain't never put in no work. I'm really I'm really from that.
Yeah.
And I'm against it. I'm like trying to denounce that kind of stuff. And he's over here trying to glorify. He never came from that. Yeah. So he probably thinks Drake is like some type of sucker and that he's trying to put the wrong influence. And while he over here, who's really from that, really grew up around that, possibly participated in it. Yeah. And it's like, I'm over here trying to put the better. This dude over here who ain't never put in no work, ain't never seen somebody get shot, nothing like that, talking like that. And I'm supposed to, no, I don't like this dude. Probably feel like he's faking the funk.
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
I know Schoolboy Q. I know he really Hoover Crip and all that. Drake, I'm supposed to listen to this thug talk from Drake? Nah.
Shoot, he did a whole interview in Compton, California.
Yeah. Right in front of Bloods in the background and some more stuff just posted up.
Yeah, so that's a good theory. That's an interesting theory. I also think that Drake,
I think Drake is messy.
Certified lover boy, you know what I mean? Like he messed with all these different women, all these rappers messing with the same women. It's gonna not do well in the future. I bet him and Weeknd probably mess with the same women.
It's definitely a possibility.
Now I heard academics say, some of this stuff ain't about women. I don't know. I mean, some of this stuff, if you messing with all these different females.
A$AP Rocky, it was about a woman. What Future was about a woman. When he was beefing with Chris Brown, it was over a woman. When he was beefing with Meek Mill, it was over a woman. I mean, what's going on?
Yeah, bro. Like, it's a lot of this is about females. About he's holding a grudge because of just him being from Toronto and everything like that, and feeling like people don't respect him. I think that plays a part in why he's always in these different beefs with people. So that's just me. Shoot, yeah, man. Like I just look at it like that. I maybe I could be wrong. Maybe it's deeper than just that. But this happening all the time with individuals that be with women that he's been with too. It's just that's just what it looks like. Why are all these guys beefing with you? It's just, and these are all dudes that be with multiple women. That's just what it looks like to me, man. That's just what it looks like. And A$AP Rocky, oh my God, dude, that was cold.
Yeah,
that was cold. The shot he took, I know that had to hurt, cause he took the girl of your dreams, and I don't know if he banged his baby moms or his friends banged his baby moms.
It was something like Well, I think he said he hit. He did say he hit his baby moms first.
Oh man, see, like this stuff is deeper than rap. Like this women stuff, like the women. Once you get the women involved, especially a guy like Drake, it's gonna hit. It's gonna hit the heart.
I'll tell you, it's two things most dudes will go to war for, and it's resources and women.
Yeah. That's why he's always in beef.
And pride. Those three things that get you, to be a downfall. Mm-hmm.
Remember,
man, what?
Man, he's beef with so many people. He's beef with Common. He's beef with Joe Budden. Like, he's beef with
Kanye.
We already know Kanye. Like, it's
Pusha, Meek Mill, Chris Brown.
I can understand the Kanye one, because Kanye, he's just been hating.
Yeah. He's
been trying everything he could to put him down. So I understand the Kanye one, but everybody else is like, damn, you beefing with this dude, Common? Like, what the hell are you beefing with Common?
Guess what?
A woman.
Yep, Serena Williams.
Oh yeah, that's crazy. That's a crazy one. That's a real crazy one. See, like
he even beefing with the women. He beefing with Meg Thee Stallion.
Let's go to the. So I want to go to the NBA standings real quick, because a lot of movement has been made since last week's podcast. Say this though. So right now the Kings, the Lakers, and the Warriors are like, I think they're like a half game between one another. I know the Warriors have 36 losses. The Kings have 36 losses, and the Lakers have 35 losses. Right now, the Lakers are an 8th seed, and the Kings and the Warriors are battling for the 9th and the 10th. I think they all have one game remaining, and the Lakers control their destiny. All they have to do is win against the Pelicans, and they'll have the 8th seed. They will face either, I believe it's the Pelicans or the Suns in the play-in, and whoever wins that game, depending on the from 2-1, depending on who it is, between the Nuggets, between the Timberwolves, between the Thunder, can determine if that team may go on a playoff run or not. So this last like few days is going to be chaotic.
Yeah.
It's going to be chaotic.
Even the
man.
1 seed for the Western Conference is like down to the wire.
I think the last day is the 4th. Yeah, the last day is on Sunday. And I think every team is playing on Sunday.
I tell you what, if you gamble, Sunday is the perfect day to get. We're going to see some crazy stuff.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, because
man, we playoffs already. It just felt like it was the Super Bowl last week.
yeah, man, this is going to be great.
And then the drought. Oh wait, that's not. The Olympics is this summer.
Yeah,
So the drought not even going to be that crazy.
That's going to be great. Oh man, I feel bad for WNBA because the Olympics.
Yeah.
Wait,
no, they going to be. They will be playing, right?
yeah, I know the women, they're going to be playing in the Olympics for sure, but I wonder how that's going to work. Well, I forget the whole thing about with the women going to the Olympics, and you also have the WNBA season. I don't know if the Olympics happens between the WNBA season or it's like before. I forget how that works, but yeah, we'll get down the road on that one. But ultimately, the Suns, the Lakers, the Sacramento Kings, the Golden State Warriors are in the play-in right now, and OKC is the number 1 seed right now. Minnesota's number 2, Denver is 3. Clippers is 4, Dallas is 5. That's going to be the 4 and 5 matchup. Clippers and Dallas. That's going to be so good. That's going to be so good. I can't wait to see that in the playoffs because Dallas, you mentioned it before, they're a huge threat in the Western Conference, and them playing the Clippers in the playoffs. Oh my God! Because you know Luka's had his way with the Clippers. He hasn't won a series, but he's always like gone toe to toe with Kawhi, with Paul George in them. So
and it's not looking good for Kawhi.
Yeah,
that knee.
Yeah, that's a huge concern. And they're gonna play the Clippers again. And now Luka finally has somebody by his side.
Mm-hmm.
Kyrie Irving. Who's gonna stay in front of Kyrie Irving? Like Terrence Mann? I mean, he's solid, but nah. Sorry,
nobody.
No. Kawhi, he's up there in age now. I don't think he's quick enough to keep up with Kawhi. I meant with Kyrie Irving. Paul George. I mean, he's solid, but this is Kyrie Irving. So I cannot wait. Prayers to Derek Lively. He lost his mom. It's unfortunate. So prayers go out to him. But yeah, man. All these other teams, New Orleans. Man, I just can't wait. This is going to be a really good playoffs. The matchups is going to determine everything. I still think Denver wins no matter what, but whoever makes the Western Conference Finals is going to depend on the matchups.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I think if OKC plays the Lakers in the first round, it's going to be that series. It might go either way. It could
honestly
go either way. And I think Minnesota versus Phoenix, that's gonna be that would be an interesting matchup. So we'll have to see. On the east side of things, Milwaukee, man, they're just
looking good for my dog.
They're just hanging on a thread at this point. You know, Giannis went down with a calf injury, a calf strain. That's not good because that can linger, depending on how how long he's out for. That can really linger. I mean, we already know with Kevin Durant, that situation. So you have to be very careful on that one. On New York, they're dealing with injuries. I don't even know if OG Anunoby's going to come back. We already know Julius Randle's out for the year. But OG Anunoby, we don't even know if he's going to come back. And he was a major reason. They were like undefeated with him when he was playing on the floor, and now he's out. So that's just bad. Cleveland's number 4. The East is really weak. Orlando was 5. I already told you how I feel about Orlando. They've overachieved, but I just think they're not a real threat. Philly and Miami take up the 7-8 spot. I think that Philly.
I'm looking at Google and they say the Sixers is the 6th seed.
Well, ESPN, I guess they haven't updated yet. Maybe I should check on NBA. But on ESPN it says they're like the 7th spot. Even though, I mean, they did beat Orlando. So, yeah, they're still the 7th spot for whatever reason. I guess they don't have the tiebreaker yet. They won 7 in a row. Philly, let me check. What's the last game they play? They play Brooklyn. Okay, Orlando plays Milwaukee. Ooh, that's going to be a big game. So, yeah, Sunday is going to be huge. It's going to be very huge. I have a rant.
Uh-oh.
I'm tired of all of these media people continuously saying that the Warriors are a threat. They're not. I'm tired of people acting like the Warriors actually have a chance to make a deep playoff run. Just because you beat the Lakers without Anthony Davis and Klay Thompson got red hot for once in like 5 games. Andrew Wiggins played well once in 5 games. All of a sudden, you come to this conclusion that if Klay Thompson gets red hot, if Andrew Wiggins plays well, we're talking about a series, not a 1-game situation. If this was 1 game, I agree with you. They are a threat. But this is a series, a 7-game series. You cannot fool teams in 7 games. You have to beat them 4 times. And you expect me to believe the Warriors are capable of going on a run. You're out of your damn mind and you're just looking for views. I'm tired of all of these media people keep saying that the Warriors have a shot. No, they don't. It's Curry and friends. That's literally what it is. Klay Thompson has fallen off a cliff. Andrew Wiggins has not been good since 2022, and the bench has gotten better, but is still not talented enough to compete in the West, to win a playoff series. I'm sorry. I like Steve Kerr, one of the best coaches in the NBA. But let's face it, they're not talented enough. They're not. They have Jonathan Kuminga, their second best player. That's not good enough. I'm sorry. So all of these media people that keep trying to say that, well, if this happens, well, that happened. We've seen 81 games of proof that it's not going to happen more times than not. Once every 5 games? How can you count on that in a series? It's just clickbait. They're just searching for views. They're searching for attention to remain relevant. That's all that is. Because it's a waste of time to keep talking about the Warriors as title contenders, as a team that will go on a deep playoff run. I'm tired of hearing it.
Yeah, that team is not equipped. Not this year.
No, it's not.
Maybe not ever again, but yeah, I don't see it. And I've watched plenty of Warrior games this year. I just don't see it.
I want to talk about what NBA team, in your opinion, is under the most pressure to win this season.
The Celtics.
The Celtics. I mean, that's the easy answer, but yeah. What is your explanation?
They have the best record in the league, playing in the weakest conference, and the conference that's also dealing with injuries and some more stuff. They essentially have pretty much a free trip to the finals if they just stay on track. And granted, the team they're going to play out the West is also going to be a really good team, but Your players are relatively healthy. Kristaps survived the full season, which I wasn't seeing. I ain't see it coming. You just signed Drew Holiday to a multi-year extension. Just gave Jaylen Brown all that money this past off season. I'm not seeing much excuses for them. I do think their bench is still weak, in my opinion. But you got so much firepower. You just got to get it done. If it ain't this year, it ain't ever going to happen. Because at this point, this is the weakest the East will probably be. And, yeah, it's hands down the Celtics, in my opinion. Jokic already got his ring last year, so. And there's also 3 other teams with the same record as them, so.
I do
OKC is young, so they don't really got much expectation to win. The Timberwolves, this is really like Ant's true breakout year. Yeah. So, they'll still probably give them some time. The Lakers, Darvin Ham, no one expects the Lakers to win. Warriors, they just aren't good enough. Kings, they're not good, really, honestly. Pelicans don't have Brandon Ingram. It's just Zion and
he'll be back though.
He'll be back.
He'll be back the last game of the season.
Interesting. Mavericks, they just started really picking it up after the All-Star break. They don't really. They got Kyrie and Luka.
But they're not the favorites.
Yeah, they're not really the favorites. So it's honestly the Celtics.
Okay. I mean, I can understand when I knew you were gonna say that.
Yeah.
I already knew it, but I respectfully disagree. I think it's the Phoenix Suns. I think the Phoenix Suns have the most pressure because if they don't win this year, number one, Grayson Allen is an unrestricted free agent. Royce O'Neal is an unrestricted free agent. Eric Gordon has a player option. Josh Okogie has a player option. And they're going to be tied to those 3 dudes. Kevin Durant, he's getting up there in age. Devin Booker is in his prime. And Bradley Beal, he's dealing with injuries a lot, and he's making like $50 million a year. So you're going to be tied to those 3 dudes.
I tried to tell him.
Exactly. And they don't have no draft picks. They don't own their draft picks. I mean, certain things have to go a certain way in order for them to get their draft picks, but for the most part, they don't own their draft picks for until 2030 or something like that, 2031. So they have to win now because there's no room for improvement much. And I understand the Boston Celtics point because they have all this talent. They have the most wins in the league. They have 62 wins right now. They've had a magical year. But I look at that team and I say to myself, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, they're entering their prime. They're in their mid-20s right now. They just signed Drew Holiday to that massive deal. Kristaps Porzingis, they could probably re-sign him as well. I believe they're still going to have a championship window for years to come. While with the Suns, I look at them and I say, after this season, I mean, they're screwed. They have no draft picks. The cap space there is limited.
Yeah.
So I bet you Grayson Allen, he's going to want a new deal. He's going to want more money because he's had an outstanding year shooting the basketball. So they're screwed. I look at it from a media perspective and just the expectations. Yeah, the Boston Celtics, but if we just look at it overall in terms of what's going to happen after if this team doesn't achieve the final goal, it's the Suns. The Suns are screwed.
Well, the reason I didn't really consider the Suns is because they aren't real in my eyes. So yeah, obviously what you said makes sense, and from an organizational standpoint, that pressure is probably built. But as far as no one's expecting the Suns to even get past the second round. Truthfully told. And they aren't real players in this whole championship equation in my eyes. So that's why I just left them out. I was like, it's the Suns. They are screwed. I agree with you. If they don't make something shake this year, they are finished. But I just left them out because they aren't real players in my mind.
Mm-hmm. The media expects that, but the organization thinks another way. They believe that they have what it takes to win a championship. That's why they traded for Bill. And that's the problem. And that's why I say they're under the most pressure.
And it's funny because we all seen this coming. Literally everyone saw this coming. We was trading for Bill does not move the needle. Mm-hmm. The big 3 era of the NBA, like I said last year, the super team era is finished.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I think that'll do it for this episode of Courtside View Podcast. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment down below, hit the notification bell, follow the socials as well. And we'll see you guys in the next episode of the podcast. Thank you guys for watching, and peace.
And the draft is in 2 weeks.
Yes,
the coverage
sir.
starts next week.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to lock in.
Just let me be me.